Hey guys, today we are going to teach you guys how to properly inspect a roof for hail damage. First things first, making sure that you have the proper equipment. First being your cougar paws. So here we have cougar paws. Your cougar paws have a padded bottom on the bottom of the boot that will help you grip the roof better. You can walk steeper roofs much easier. So here at Rapid Response Roofing, we require each salesman to carry a inspection pouch with them. That pouch should contain chalk. So the chalk is going to be used to mark the roof damages, mark the hail damages on the roof, okay? You are going to have a pitch gauge. So this right here is what measures the pitch of the roof and how steep the roof is. Very crucial for certain jobs for helping us identify different slopes and being able to get different types of roofs paid for by the insurance company. It also makes us as salespeople more money the steeper the roof is, and we want to be able to prove to the insurance company exactly what that pitch of the roof is. So the next tool is your shingle gauge. So your shingle gauge here, your shingle gauge is what we use to identify the thickness of the shingle. By identifying the thickness of the shingle, that's going to tell us the age of the roof and or what condition that shingle is in on the roof. Now, also here we have your tape measure. So obviously everyone knows what a tape measure is. The tape measure is going to help us properly measure any roofing surfaces that we need to measure, as well as any can vents or any skylights or any accessories that we need to get measurements for. Those measurements will be listed on your inspection checklist. So if there are any measurements that need to be taken on any particular job, those are all going to be listed on the inspection checklist, so you'll know what it is exactly that you need to measure. Now, let's get into the inspection. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to look at this slope. So this slope has a lot of hail damage on there. As you can see, to the untrained eye, you may not see a whole lot of damage on this slope, okay? I see it everywhere. I see a lot of damage on this slope. So first I want to start off by saying this roof here particularly is an older roof. So in my professional opinion, I'm going to guess this roof to be around between 15 and 20 years old. I'm going to say maybe around 17, 18 years old is going to be my guess. The reason that I'm guessing that is the condition that the shingles are in, the way that the granules look on the shingles. So if you kind of get in here, you can see that not all of the granules are nice and tight on the shingles. You have areas like this here. An area like this where the shingles are losing their granules, you can see how the granules are kind of coming off. That is not storm damage. That is not hail damage. That is mechanical damage. That is from the shingles themselves just being old and aged. The granules are starting to come off. That is what's called blistering. So blistering is also what happens when some roofs may have improper ventilation on the roof. It could cause roofs to lose granules prematurely. But that's not what we're looking at here today. So let's get back to the hail damage. So the first thing that I'm going to look for is quarter sized, well, really any size, anywhere from a dime, quarter size, could be golf ball, softball size. Doesn't really matter the size. It's what we're looking for. So on this roof here, in particular, we're going to start off by looking at certain impacts on the shingle. So as you can see here, Riego, if you want to get this one up close here, you can see this one here. So this is an indentation from a hail impact. You can see that the granules in the middle of the impact have been embedded into the shingle, so that way you can tell that something has actually physically dropped on top of the shingle, pushing those shingles into the matting of the shingle. So the second thing we're going to notice here is that the size of the damage and the marking of the damage. So you can see how it's kind of a round damage there. Not all hail impacts are going to be round like this, but most likely 95% of the times they're going to be round and roughly anywhere between a dime to maybe a quarter inch in size or so, depending on the size of the hailstorm. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark the hail by simply giving it a circle, okay? So this is how we properly mark hail damage. This tells us that this right here is in fact a hail impact, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to look for as many hail impacts as we can, just to kind of get some good photos for the insurance company so we can build a good damage report. So Next thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna just circle some damages. Again, I wanna point out what it is that we're looking for and why it's considered hail damage. So let me find another good one here. So Riego, come on over here. Let's show them this one right here. This is a pretty good one. So this one's actually probably even better. So you see here, again, you see the discoloration. You see how it's black in color. You can tell that the shingle has some type of indentation there. It does not look like the rest of the shingle. You can tell something has impacted the shingle there. So again, upon inspection, we're gonna see and feel that it's soft to the touch. And I don't know how well you can see in the video here and how up close you're getting, but if you see there, this shingle is squishy. It's very soft to the touch. That means that the back of the shingle has actually cracked, what is called the matting. So the matting of the shingle has cracked, causing this shingle to be damaged. So we're going to circle this shingle. Okay, that's another hail impact. So now we're gonna go around and we're just gonna look for as many of those hail impacts as we can find. Now remember, every time you find a hail impact, you must feel the impact, and the impact must be soft to the touch. Now, this isn't true for 100% of the time, but about 98 to 99% of the time, if it's hail damage, it's gonna be soft to the touch. There are a few instances in which it may not be soft to the touch and it's still hail damage, but right now we're just gonna focus on the impacts that are soft to the touch because we know that that is hail damage, and we know that that's what the insurance company is going to be looking for when they perform their adjuster inspection. That one's a good one there. That one's physically broke. You can physically see how the shingle has broken and split on that one. That's a very good hail impact. So this is what the shingle looks like on the underside. You see how it's broken there? So any of those other areas that I've touched, like this one right here, for example, where it's soft to the touch, but you can't physically see the underneath of the shingle. This is most likely what the underneath of the shingle looks like, where it's been broken, and which the shingle has been compromised. Now this shingle, even though this damage is very small, because the shingle has broke on the back side, the underneath, this shingle is never going to function properly how it was intended to be function. So when we're doing this, guys, we want to find as much hail damage as we can possibly find on each slope of the roof, right? The insurance company, they're going to get up here and they're going to mark a 10 by 10 square, which I'll explain to you what that means in just a second. They're going to get up here and they're going to mark a 10 by 10 square. You want to be confident that if the insurance company gets up here and puts a 10 by 10 square on any area, on any slope of this roof, that you're going to have 10 hail impacts in that 10 by 10 area. It's very important. So at the end of the day, we want to identify as many hail impacts as we possibly can. We want to have as many circles up here as we possibly can, because it helps build our case against the insurance company. If they were to deny this roof for whatever reason, we would have enough evidence, if you will, to pursue the claim for a reinspection. So again, we want as many hail impacts as we can have up here. It's kind of like having collateral damage. The more that's up here, the more supported our claim is. It's just, you know. During the time of your inspection, you are looking for different types of damages, okay? So you're looking for hail damage, of course. That is what is going to get this roof paid for. The other style of damage that you're going to be looking for is mechanical damage, okay? There's all sorts of different types of mechanical damage. This one in particular that I want to show you guys on this roof here, right here we have what's called a nail pop. So a nail pop is when you have a nail that was on the underneath of the shingle. that has either been installed improperly where the nail head is sticking up. This one, it looks like there may have just been a loose nail that was just laying on its side, trapped under the shingle. What happens over time is when this shingle starts to settle in the heat here, this nail pops through the underside of the shingle, creating a hole. So now we have a nail coming up through the shingle. This is what's called mechanical damage. The insurance company is not going to approve the roof just based off of damages like these. So it's very important that we separate these type of damages. So what I will do whenever we have a nail pop, what I will always do is I will either underline it or I'll put a square on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a square on this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and put an MD for mechanical damage. That way when we do take our pictures, the insurance company knows that this is just mechanical damage here, and it's not the storm damage that we're looking for. So we found some damage up here. We've got some hail marked up here on this slope. So what I'm going to teach you guys now how to do is create your 10 by 10 square. This is what the insurance company uses to measure the roofs, essentially to see if there's enough storm damage to get the roof approved and paid for. So a 10 by 10 square is a 10-foot by 10-foot area. Okay, that's 100 square foot. So in the roofing industry, 100 square foot equals one roofing square. Okay, so essentially we're going to highlight one roofing square, so a 10 by 10 area that has at least 10 hail impacts or more. The insurance company, depending on what insurance company you're working with, the insurance company is going to typically look for no less than 8, but usually it's 10 or more hail hits in a 10 by 10 section. So let's get started. So the best way to do this, until you get really good at it and just can kind of eyeball a 10 by 10 area, we're gonna pull the tape measure out. So we're gonna wanna get a 10 by 10 area here. So we're gonna say, we're gonna start this area. So we're gonna start this area roughly right around in here, okay? So now I've got 10 foot right here. So I'm gonna go like this. So I'm gonna mark it as a squared angle here. So this is the corner of our square. This is the corner of our square. That's a 10-foot length between the two markings. Then we're gonna go 10 foot to the side here. So you can go 10 foot, that's roughly about 10 foot right there. So then again, you're gonna mark your 10-foot corner. And then when you get down to the last one, you can kind of see about where that marking is at there, and you can portray it over here, boom. So now we've got our 10 by 10 square. I don't know if you can kind of get an overview of what that 10 by 10 looks like. So now that we have got our 10 by 10 square marked out, the next thing that we are going to do for our pictures here is we are going to mark what directional slope this is, okay? So this particular slope is the south slope. So we're going to put south right here, okay? So this is going to say south. Okay, so this is our south slope. And then we have more than 10 hail hits in this slope here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we've got more than 10 hail hits here. So what we're gonna do is we're simply gonna go H for hail equals 10 plus, that means on the south slope in our 10 by 10 square, we have 10 plus hail hits on this particular slope. So then we're going to stand back and we're going to photograph this area. So you're gonna take your phone and you're going to make sure, and then you might want to look at my phone on this one here. So you're gonna make sure that you have an overview of your 10 by 10 square. So we're gonna get an overview photo. And then next, we're gonna go in and we're gonna take some up close photos of those damages. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna take individual photos of each of these hail marks. So that way we can not only show the insurance company that we have the adequate amount of hail impacts in this area, but that those hail impacts are obvious and apparent hail damage. So when dealing with the insurance companies, all they're typically looking for is proof that the roof has been damaged, and we create a damage report for the insurance companies and send these off to the insurance companies to kind of help them with their job and make their job easier. If their job's easier, our job's easier, and it's just easier for everyone involved. So that is how you mark a 10 by 10 square for hail damage on a directional slope when performing your roof inspection.